Hi, in this video I'm going to show you how to watch BBC iPlayer in Canada. Okay, so BBC iPlayer is the British Broadcasting Corporation's online streaming service. It's probably one of the first media streamer service ever created, really, and in my opinion it's probably one of the best. It's packed full of programs. It's got about 12 live TV channels and literally thousands and thousands of shows. This is basically what's on here at the moment, a list of mammals, which is David Attenborough's latest wildlife program, which is well worth watching. And this is up there, I think, for the next year or so. Most of the programs are up for a year, and you can enjoy them all for free. But there's a slight drawback. It only works if you're inside the UK. So what happens if you're outside the UK, if you're in Canada, for example? Well, I'll just show you now what happens. If you try and connect and stream anything on BBC iPlayer from outside the UK, you get this message. BBC iPlayer only works in the UK. Sorry, it's due to a rights issue. And that goes through all the live channels. Here's the live channels, all the categories, all the on-demand stuff. None of it will work. Why? Because it can see if you're not in the UK. How does it do this? It basically looks up your IP address. Now, just about every website does this. Every time you visit a website, it looks up your IP address. It's very, very mundane technology nowadays. Let me just show you an example. This is a website called gps-coordinates.org. But there's loads of these. They just look your IP address up and see where it's registered to. So here we can go, and if you can see, my IP address currently is registered here, which is, I'm sure you recognize, Montreal. So this is exactly what the BBC does. It looks up your IP address. If it's not in the UK, it reroutes you to the international version. But how can we get past this? Obviously you can move, but you'd have to move to the UK, which is a bit extreme for watching online streaming service. Unfortunately, you can't actually change your IP address because it's assigned when you connect to the internet. So whether it's your home connection, your cafe you're in, or the library, hotel, wherever, all of those assign your computer an IP address to access the internet. It's part of the TCP/IP protocol, and you're stuck with that. Really, you can't honestly change it. You can change it to a different IP address sometimes, but it'll always be registered to the same country. So how do we get around it? How do we get around this block? How can we watch BBC iPlayer in Canada? Well, it's actually quite simple. Let me just close this down and I'll show you how it's done. You have to use something called a VPN. Now I'll show you here. Now VPN stands for Virtual Private Network, and it's basically an encrypted tunnel between your computer, phone, tablet, whichever you've got the VPN service installed on, and a encrypted server somewhere in the world. Now, the primary reason this is security. When you connect to a VPN, it also encrypts all your traffic. So it means things like your email address and your usernames and passwords, which are often in clear text, unnervingly enough, can be intercepted, but not with a VPN because it's all encrypted, so it's all protected. If you forget about BBC for a moment, if you do any traveling and you want to access things like sensitive sites like online banking, PayPal, email, stuff like that, you really should use a VPN, or you're very, very vulnerable. Okay, but there's another advantage to using a VPN, is you can hide the location. The website, any website you visit, will only see the IP address of the VPN server. So if you connect to a UK VPN server, it'll look like you've got a UK IP address. If you connect to a French VPN server, you'll look like you're in France, and so on. Now we're going to here, as you can see, VPN. So this is the very basic, cheapest subscription for NordVPN, and you can see they've got servers all over the world. But we want, for BBC iPlayer, we need the UK. Now you can click on the map, and it will just connect to the fastest UK server. There's a problem. BBC iPlayer does actually block most VPN services. NordVPN has got round this by setting up some specialized servers that it keeps an eye out. Basically, doesn't get too many people using them, and it rotates the IP address so they don't get blocked. I'm going to connect to one now. United Kingdom. I'll just pop up the screen now. This is only relevant if you decide to go for NordVPN. There's a link in the description below to the latest discounts for it. But these are the servers if you want to use BBC iPlayer, or indeed if you're using any UK media streaming site like ITVX, which is also free and great, Channel 4, Channel 5, use one of these. So it's 1840, 41, 42, 43, 1875, 6, and so on. Any of those. Just type the number into the search thing in NordVPN, and it'll come up, and just click to that server and save it to your favorites if it works well. Right, let's minimize this, and now we're going to go back to BBC iPlayer. And remember, our location hasn't changed, but we're now connected to a UK VPN server. So let me go and let's just go and watch anything. Superman and Lois. And let's click on Start Watching. Now, remember, we had a message here saying it won't work because of your location or something like that. And you can see here it's working perfectly. Let me just start it. This is the starting credit, and you can maximize that, minimize it. Works on your phone, tablet. Let me just stop it, because you unfortunately get a copyright strike quite quickly in YouTube if you stream anything of this online. But hopefully you can see it works perfectly, and you can go to any of the channels now, and if you want to watch BBC One live, just click on that. It's because it's seeing raises more questions. My IP address from the VPN server, okay? And it thinks I'm in the UK, so all the BBC iPlayer will work. And that's basically it. A couple of quick points. You need a BBC iPlayer account. They're all free. Before you go and just search for BBC iPlayer, register, and that'll take you to the registration page. You need a couple of things before. You must be connected to a UK VPN server before you do that. Otherwise, it'll say you can't have an account. If you've got an account, fine. Just log on to it and then use the server as we've demonstrated. Also, you'll need a UK postcode. It's like a zip code. It's any sort of area code. You can look online for any of these. Any postcode will do, just from any famous hotel, business, anything. Google anything, find any address in the UK, pinch the postcode, and that'll work. It doesn't do any checks or anything to see if you're in there. It will also ask you if you've got a UK TV license. Now, this is important. You can't buy a TV license outside the UK. But if you're asked if you've got one, you must say yes. If you say no, it won't work. Okay? So just say yes. There's no check. It doesn't ask for any serial number. Like a lot of Canadian sites ask for validation of your location by asking for your cable subscription number and stuff like that. Nothing like that happens on BBC at the moment, and hasn't for years. So that's basically it. So that's all you really need to watch BBC iPlayer in Canada. I hope that's helped, and thank you very much for watching, and enjoy the rest of your day. Bye-bye.